On to this one. We have to go, we have to make a motion to come back into the workshop now.
Yes.
We're out of executive session. Do we have a motion to continue our agenda? Back
Make
into
the
public
motion to
session.
continue our agenda.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, we're back. Mike, take her away.
Yes, sir. So I think the council recalls, part of our process, any major development, it proceeds through the orderly planning commission process, and after they take some action and or no action, or that comes forward to the council, and before we proceed to first reading on any of these required documents, we have a workshop with council to informally talk about the documents and any issues related to before it proceeds. So we are going to talk about Hardy Station, which is the property behind, on Exit 8, behind the Holiday Inn, I guess, hotel. And we're going to talk about the Planned Development District, the conceptual master plan, and then the development agreement provisions that accompany that development. So Ms. Katie will lead us through the process.
All right, so I can get my presentation.
I'm going to do a quick presentation and then I will hand it over to the applicant's team here. So Hardy Station Plan Development District Amendment and Initial Master Plan. Again, it's called Hardy Station, located at Exit 8. And you can kind of see the, this is the original plan that was approved in 2009. At that time, there was a plan development district approved, there was an initial master plan approved, but there was no development agreement at that time. Shows the original layout, several hotels and restaurant and retail here. Again, this is I-95, exit 8 here, 278 and 17. The proposed initial master plan is in front of you here. It does provide a large travel center with future commercial lots here and up here. What you'll notice is the access has been removed from 278 due to the I-95 widening plans, and all the access points have been relocated off of 17. The existing convenience store and hotel will have an access point on this road right here, just up 17. So I have the 2009 plan and the proposed plan here. It's approximately 46 acres. Potential uses in addition to the large travel center would be retail, hotels, restaurants, and other general commercial uses. The economic development element of the comprehensive plan recommends that the city work with others to increase access to local opportunities that can reduce overall commuting distance and cost for residents. As you know, there are some multifamily projects that are proposed in the vicinity on the other side of Exit 8, as well as our downtown residents. This development would provide job opportunities in close proximity to those residents. The transportation element recommends that the city review PDDs and document transportation responsibilities and projects, as well as increase collaboration between city staff and SCDOT on transportation needs. This applicant has worked in coordination with the city and SCDOT to address mitigation for current and future traffic concerns related to 278, 17, and I-95. This application, again, does improve the access. The original PDD allowed direct access to 278, as well as 3 access points on 17. Again, that has all been moved to 17 at this time. And the TIA and all the supplemental traffic memos provided that are provided in the document have been reviewed by city staff, SCDOT, and a third-party consultant. Some pictures. This is the site right here. This is 278 and 17. As you can see, it is undeveloped at this time. Again, this is looking from the site down towards downtown here. There's the site again looking towards Exit 8. Coordination with both city staff and DOT officials regarding improvements to Exit 8 that will occur during the implementation of the I-95 widening plan have occurred. They are donating approximately 3.8 acres of right-of-way to provide access to the existing businesses and adjacent to the project that will be dedicated to DOT. The transportation element recommends that bicycle and pedestrian facilities be integrated into roadways. The applicant is proposing multi-use pathways and sidewalks, throughout their development, as well as along the property boundaries along 17 and 278. And then pathways will be connected with DOT's Exit 8 improvements as well. It's the open space plan. There will be a minimum of 20% proposed open space. Excuse me, I need water. Thank you. And a minimum of a 20-foot average landscape buffer. Sorry. Can you take over for me for a second?
You all right?
Yeah. A lot of paint and a lot of paint fumes. Additional amenities proposed, as she mentioned, electrical vehicle charging stations, dog walking stations along the perimeter of the parking field. That goes along with the whole concept from this travel center.
She okay?
She's had a rough couple of days, and we've had a lot of paint fumes and allergies and everything. So she'll be fine. Here she comes. And a bike plaza. That is one thing that as we went through the process, they also were very they were trying their best to make sure they were accomplishing every type of traveler and everything that they had. So, are you okay?
Yeah, I apologize for that. I just had something in my throat and I had to take care of myself. Sorry. Changes from the approved PDD to now include removal of the business park and light industrial uses, removal of conversion language related to industrial uses, removal of vague language that was pertaining to permitted uses, increased open space, increased buffers, and additional amenities. At this time, I will introduce Casey.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm Casey Warfield with Kimley Horn, here representing the travel center, kind of the major portion or component of the Hardy Station PDD and IMP. It's kind of submittal that will be before you all here in weeks and talking about today. As Katie kind of alluded to, we try to do our best. Obviously, the car is a lot of the main focus, but do our best to incorporate multi-use paths there along 17, internal to the site to a bike plaza. Because interestingly enough, as car-centric or focused it is, a lot of the management at the travel centers, intense cyclists, and so they use these centers kind of across the country as kind of a nexus for various rides and things that they do. Electric vehicle charging spaces kind of around the perimeter of the site, with an initial nexus of those that then can expand as demand expands and they can be flexible as far as that particular component goes. Couple things I wanted to make note of. The driveway to the plan right side of the page that provides access to the existing gas station and hotel. That is part of SCDOT's interchange improvement projects. So we're obviously working with DOT and have been working with DOT for the traffic study and access points and improvements, and have gotten that study and concept plan approved by DOT, and it was also reviewed by the city's third party, one of the city's third party transportation reviewers, Stantec, on that. I won't necessarily bore you with a whole bunch of other information, but we're here for questions. Anything we can help clarify or answer or on that. I know, speaking kind of on behalf of the travel center, they're super excited about the site and location and the draw that it has for them. And assuming things progress smoothly through the next steps, being part of the community. And I guess one other thing that I'll go ahead and jump ahead of one of your next questions is as far as timing of the center. The idea is that the opening of the center would be kind of in conjunction with SCDOT's road improvements, so that you know, not trying to open prior to that and the mess and chaos for those customers trying to get to the center. Want to give them a great user experience and impression, and so that they'll keep coming back as repeat customers.
We recently, on the other side of I-95, approved a master plan for, I think it was 350 apartments. Right, it was 350, right? And one of the thoughts that we had, anticipating that someday a travel center might be there, is that this potentially could be workforce housing for this center, as well as customers for the center. And the thought was having the ability to travel by foot or bicycle. In DOT's plans of reconfiguring the exit, do they have sidewalks and or bike paths over the I-95?
In the latest plans that we've seen, they do. Those are still in process. My understanding, as far as where DOT stands right now, they've got about a 30% level design plans. They have started the right-of-way acquisition process. I know for the right-of-way that they needed along our particular parcel, that they have acquired that piece and component of it. But in our multi-use paths are proposed to tie into that sidewalk network that DOT is planning to construct as part of that project. So I think as far as proximity of that particular multifamily, that's fantastic.
Terrific, thank you. Council, any other questions?
You're the traffic guy, right?
I know enough to be dangerous. I've got a partner here, Conrad Salvagen. He can speak to more of the details of that, so I'm going to let him get tarred and feathered here. No, I'm kidding.
Hi, I'm Conrad Sylvagan with Kimley Horn, conducted the traffic study for this.
Okay, so I have one question. The question that I have is, you see there's a CSX railway right up way there, and we all know they carry all kinds of stuff on those tracks. What mitigation efforts do you have, guys, or will have in place if, say, for worst case scenario, there's a derailment or something like that happens in that whole area there? What plans are in place to mitigate that or overcome that or prevent that?
Free beaver nuggets.
Yeah, and I can speak up a little bit on that one. And that is one of those, heaven forbid something like that happens, and obviously no one wants that. That would, if we were so unfortunate that it happened here, I'm not sure that there's a whole lot that we could do. We've got good access to the exit here on the south of 17. There's also access to the north. So ideally, at least one of those access points could remain open. I guess speaking from personal experience with my family in this particular travel center in a different part of the country, hurricanes and things, this was the one place that my family could get gas and coming out after, and it's kind of that relief on the hill. And I know that's not quite exactly the question that you had asked, but they are definitely everybody's kind of at this point heard of like the Waffle House Index and how bad is a storm. They're there to serve the community and provide that those things that someone may need in that time of need. And hopefully we don't ever experience a derailment right here. The CSX, it's a straight straight section of rail, but I'm not sure there's a whole lot we can do to specifically mitigate that with our project.
Yeah, because I see in that drawing that your gas tanks, underground gas tanks are going to be kind of like parallel to 17. Is that correct? Am I looking at it correct?
Yeah, you are correct, and that is those underground tanks are planned right here.
Right.
Along that corridor and edge.
I got two questions, I guess. One of them, is this an access point here?
Yes, sir, that's an access for those northern commercial parcels. There's gonna be interparcel access that connects to that next roundabout. Yes.
Okay, the other question is, propane fill tanks on the property? Are you gonna sell pre-filled, or are they gonna have propane filled there, or have they made plans for that?
That I am not certain of the exact details of that, and what's being proposed there. I know that's not, generally a primary, source of their business, but, it could be.
Okay, thank you.
I have two questions. Easy one, the charging stations that were mentioned, these would be charging stations for, I think there's two types, one for Tesla only and one for everybody. Are these everybody's or are they segmented?
They,
You're gonna have to get out the way.
yeah.
Can I hop in here real quick?
Sure, please. You may have to give your fake name.
The real one or I'm sorry, Mayor, which one?
Whichever you feel is appropriate.
Stan Beard, Beard. I am Director of Development and Real Estate for Buc-ee's. And I'm really glad to be here. And
An alias would be fine.
no, Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's. So to answer your question about propane, we do not, we don't sell it.
It was just a thought.
To answer your question about derailments, we don't allow those.
Put that guy in front
Yep,
there and make
yep.
the train go straight.
And those fuel tanks are 15 feet under the ground, and nothing's ever going to get to them.
Okay, so you just said the B word out there loud.
I did.
Is it public knowledge?
Apparently it is now.
Everybody put your phones on silence because they're gonna start ringing.
Does that mean I can start wearing my Buc-ee's shirt now?
I don't. I'd rather you wait till after any votes. But I don't. Yeah. I mean, we are at the point where, we're ready to go. Unfortunately, if there is an unfortunate here, it's that we're, and I hate to kick SCDOT under the bus, but we're going to be waiting for them.
We do it often.
I know we did. I know,
Do it too.
but we're going to be waiting for them. We will not open until that interchange is complete. They are at about 30% plans. I mean, they're trucking right along as good as they can, and I think I don't know if they've scheduled any real calendar yet, but they might have to y'all. Yeah. So anyway, we will back into our construction start, and hopefully we have a dual ribbon cutting.
Right. Now, so back to the charging stations.
Yes.
Will it be Tesla only or?
No. So we are somewhat at the mercy of our two partners, who are Tesla, which is the Apple of the group, and Mercedes-Benz, which is the Android side of the world. And we have pretty loose agreements with both of them that they get to choose where they put their electric charging stations. They haven't bypassed Buc-ee's Travel Center yet, and I can't imagine them passing on this one. So,
Can't imagine either.
right. So at a minimum, I think you're going to see at least a dozen Teslas. And I think you're going to see maybe that much of the Mercedes-Benz. We have not, and I'm going to be speaking out of school. I don't think that we've actually had a Mercedes-Benz unit turned on yet. I think they're building at a couple of our sites, but I don't think they're official yet. But they are they're the Android. And by the way, Tesla has now started to move into sharing their technology and their power sourcing with other car makers and everything. So it's going to, one of these days, it's going to be all one thing.
And to follow up on a previous executive session meeting we've had, it's my understanding that you have, for lack of a better term, in size-wise, A, B, C type units, and this is
our big guy.
This is your big guy.
This is our big guy.
That will be a question I'll be
Sure.
asking in about 30 minutes.
No, we've gotten out of the size competition, but our big store that we build now is 74,000 square feet. We built a store. Luling, Texas was our first travel center ever, 20 years ago, and 9 months ago we opened up a 75,000 square foot travel center next to the old 30,000 square foot travel center. And now that have demolished that. So 75 is the biggest one that we're ever going to build so far. 74 is what all the other big ones are. And this location by far requires a 74,000 square footer. And I will make, the traffic created is no different between a 74 or a 53. The reason that we went bigger was that our out-of-state stores were, thank goodness, so crazily successful that they started getting a little too busy. And our number one goal is for your customer experience inside of a Buc-ee's to be like memorable. So like when you walk out there, you go, whatever I thought that was, I never thought it was that. And that was really cool. And our owner said, it's starting to get a little sketchy. And my wife agreed with it. She was like, I don't go in there on Saturdays. And so we built this bigger store, and it's almost all in the front, in the customer facing area, so that people can just, spread out a little bit, spend more time, and theoretically maybe spend more money.
So now, the second question I had, which speaks to what you just were talking about, that intersection of 17 and 278, has DOT given any preliminary expectations of a light at that? So what are the requirements before they would approve it?
So based on our traffic study that they did approve, we are going to be installing a traffic light there, and we'll be widening 17 to accommodate all these new trips.
That intersection?
Yes, sir. And so we'll have two left turning lanes coming off of 17 back onto 278.
So we're gonna have the solution before the problem arrives? That would be.
That is the goal.
Oh, whoa, finally, I can say, and we can say, we did that, our council did that? Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you.
I'll take all the credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great, that is terrific, that's something that the public doesn't fully understand, SCDOT's light requirements, and we are often criticizing for not anticipating the traffic and putting a solution before. So is the timing, because again, we're gonna get asked this question, is the timing set, as you talked before, that you would have a dual ribbon cutting? Could we make that a tri-ribbon cutting?
Yes, sir. Just go back on that real quick. Yeah, like you mentioned, generally the DOT wants to get out there and see the data before they actually install it. But the intersection geometry that we are proposing at this intersection to control the traffic, it has to be signalized. So we have been given the go.
Yeah, that's a similar situation in Florence. That signal
We
went
did, we
online.
had to, so what they're saying is true. They usually wait. And we were like, don't, right? And we were like, no, don't wait. So Florence, they built it, we bagged it, and when we opened, it was shining like a signal.
Spectacular.
Yep.
May I ask, what attracted you to this location? Because that question has been asked.
Really? So, you know, the
I didn't ask it.
it's a, it's to the area, it's a no-brainer, right? To this area, this is, first of all, it's beautiful. We love South Carolina. I love South Carolina. We're, you know, the beach is that way. I mean, we are at the, you know, y'all know, I mean, we're at the T, right? All the fun stuff is all around us.
I just tell people it's about as far as most people have to stop and use the bathroom.
Right. Well, there's that. And so from just a customer who's on the road, our customer, this is a perfect place.
That's what I thought.
And it slots in perfectly between Florence and Brunswick. And for that matter, Brunswick slots in perfectly with St. Augustine. So the point is to we've measured the average bladder, and we are filling in.
I knew it wasn't that wrong.
We are filling in. But this will be this is I don't want to call myself an expert, really, Mayor.
They hired experts.
This will be a really nice location for us. It'll have a different feel than a Brunswick even, or a St. Augustine. It'll be very similar to Florence. A lot of summer stuff, a lot of spring break, a lot of funner type trip stuff.
The visibility will be very high from 95, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. We will have a sign that you'll be able to see, and everybody will figure out how to get there.
For miles and miles and miles.
Yeah. Be a little billboard.
Excellent marketing, excellent.
Yeah.
You know, I purposely went to the store in South Carolina, I think it's at 170, 172. And I watched the way you guys had striped, getting out of the pumps, how you guys had striped the best access onto 95. And it was so seamless, you could have done it with your eyes closed.
Good, thank goodness. I did record that. It's a big lift for us to figure out how people are going to move around in this thing, and so I'm not going to kid you. And Florence, the county would, you know, if y'all talk to them, I mean, it can get ugly there on some days, and you know that's, you know, kind of, so what, right? I mean, 4th of July, it ought to be busy. It ought to, you know, but for a typical day, other than those crazy days, we study, watch for months after we open, and figure out who's doing what, and if they're doing it the right way, then we sign correctly, and if they're doing it the wrong way, we slowly move them into doing it the right way by cones and by barriers. We do all we can do internally to make sure that because if our internal traffic is moving smoothly, then the ingress and egress is not an issue. And these two circles are going to be sick. I mean, that's the key point right there, are the two circles.
I've noticed, you know, years ago I worked for Kmart, and when they were growing before Walmart, McDonald's put themselves next to every Kmart in the world. Now they put them, you know, next to Walmart.
Right.
But do you expect to attract, because I've seen it in some other locations, big companies that seem to go next to you, let's say somebody like Costco. Is that something that they seek you out?
I don't think those guys, I don't think a Costco seeks us out. I think they happened to show up in St. John's. And I think I can say that pretty comfortably because that developer was talking to them as he was talking to us. Those were pretty separate issues.
Okay.
But the people who follow us around, if we had a fan club, it would be hotels, which y'all want to hear, and so do we. And surprisingly enough, sit-down restaurants, full-service restaurants. I don't know what restrictions we put on the seller. I can't remember what it was, but we usually try to restrict against drive-through fast fooders, against the Chick-fil-A and McDonald's and whatnot.
We have them already.
What I think they have learned, and I think maybe Taco Bell learned it in Florence, is that it really isn't that great of an idea to park next to Buc-ee's, because they're going to choose Buc-ee's over you. Yeah. And so, but the sit-down restaurants, we've had just great luck. Steakhouses, Chili's, those kind of places, they like us. So I think that's what you'll see there.
I'd like to see that.
Your outlet on the right-hand side, what would you envision would be in there eventually?
Honestly, not a whole lot. I mean, I'll bring that up maybe later. I would like to keep that open for ideas with the city. We're not gonna. I'm not gonna say we're not, but we would rather have that undeveloped and look nice for the next 40 years than have
Have,
a Burger King on it.
do some trimming in there and keep
Yeah.
the green open space.
The issue
Is important.
where we've run, we can't do a whole lot because in South Carolina or around, you can't do anything to any trees unless you really know, unless you have a site plan that you're gonna really follow. We can't just go in and clear cut and pick up the pretty trees, and we don't. So that's gonna be an empty space for quite some time, and it'll look nice. You said it first.
Mike?
Yeah, just for clarification, so DOT plans, I-95, exit 5, exit 8, 100% complete, 100% permitted. They call it letting, but bidding in February.
Shut up.
Serious.
Really?
Yeah.
That's all, see, that's all ready to go. So just so it's not, we'll just say they're kind of waiting for us on exit 3, so.
Okay.
We slowed them down a little bit, but they're waiting for us to include our exit 3 project, so that's good.
Fair enough.
Council, any other questions?
I'll throw this out there because it's something that I've thought about on and off. There's the possible use for the outlet out there. Park would be nice. Other areas have done them, park and ride. We have a lot of people that transit through our community, and they'll be going right past your store every day, that live in the outer areas that work down on Hilton Head Island. And we all know what the traffic situation is getting vehicles on and off the island are. With the possibility of enlarging the mass transit or park and ride, areas like that could be an ideal spot for the park and ride location. It's at the connection of 95 and 17. A lot of our residents or the employees that work down on the island and work here in Hardyville and even down into Bluffton are coming from Ridgeland into the north. It's just a thought that might be a use for that property.
Think of how many of those brisket sandwiches you're gonna sell to folks going home after work.
And that's the thing. We appreciate that. we're open to having a discussion.
And Mr. Mayor, I think Matt, now other questions, Matt, I'll just briefly go through the DA provisions if the council wants to hear that. Obviously it's gonna come back up, but since he's here, he
Yeah,
can,
we have time, let's.
he can talk
let's do
about it. Go ahead, Matt.
I'll be very brief. Typical DA, and we just outlined rights and responsibilities of the city and the developer. Certainly, assure them we're going to provide all our city services that we provide everyone. Their obligations as well. Certainly, traffic is a part of that, road improvements. This is really kind of unique in the sense that DOT is doing an awful lot of the improvements kind of quote for them, but it certainly helps them. They're going to be responsible, as you know, we've talked previously with another agreement. They're going to have to improve US 17. How that ultimately gets paid for is another matter, but it's their responsibility to make that happen. Just to back up for 1 second, I would note we were always going to get that light at 17 and 95. I'm sorry, 17 and 278 as a part of the widening in exit 8. But with the Buc-ee's and their TIA, it showed that they need that second left turn. So that was that. But we were always going to get that light, so that was good right off the bat anyway. But just then again, obviously the big part of a DA is the development fees. We're going to collect for public works, police, fire, community facilities, minimal amount for community facilities, park, and then off-site roads. We do have an off-site road fee. That's the big number. None of these numbers are huge. They're certainly not anti-business by any stretch, but they do accomplish what we need them to accomplish. These are commercial fees, so they're based on per 1,000 square feet. And we did for the road fee, we did assign a value, a fee for each gas pump, because Buc-ee's is such a unique situation and such a traffic generator that we felt that was appropriate. And they've been very accommodating. And as we work through the DA, the various versions, there really hasn't been any great controversy at all. But we will receive some funds there. And again, they're going to. Essentially, the improvements they have to make immediately are just the ones along 17, and then we will obviously be able to collect some money that we can hopefully put towards either some spot improvements along 278 or the ultimate widening or whatever, because certainly the city's going to have to play some part in that whole project, a very large project, so anywhere we can cobble funds together to help, for the city's share, that would be good. But that's really where we are with the DA. Nothing earth-shaking in there. I'll answer any questions if I can.
We spoke before about public engagement. And, I think that this is a project of magnitude and great public interest. Do you think it have value, whoever represents Buc-ee's and or the traffic studies, to have a public forum where the public can come in and see this, engage with the public, because I think the public embracing this would be, first of all, it would be a no-brainer, but number two, I think including them as part of this project I think it would have a lot of benefit if you don't agree, we can, because we'll definitely be going to first reading what do you anticipate, Mike?
Well, it's up to the council, but generally, right after the workshop, and if there's no major issues, we would go to first reading on November 7th.
November 7th, first reading, if council, I would just, it seems we're ready for first reading. But I'm talking about a public engagement session. It doesn't necessarily have to be, because the public, if they want to weigh in, they'll have two public hearings. But I think having a bigger thing, like at the rec center or something, invite the public in, show them what's going to happen.
Harry, what about between first and second reading, just to have it between first and second reading?
I think that would be, I think it would be wonderful. The public's going to be very excited about this.
It's one of the worst kept secrets.
So and we're willing to do what y'all want us to do. Those things can go one of two ways. And the overwhelming majority of the public loves us and wants us to be there. The really loud, miserable Grinches of the world who don't want us to be there, they're the ones who show up at those things. And I don't mind it. Doesn't bother me a bit.
We're in the business of that, by the way.
Right.
We get that just about every day.
And so,
We're gonna have a referendum now. Just go on Facebook and
so it's, you know, I'm there to answer questions. I'm there to provide facts. And yes, I have no problem with a discourse with the public. I would just, you know, I would caution y'all to, you know, how you really do that, whether it's in, you know, whether it's at the first, I mean, you know, you're having two public meetings.
so maybe.
I mean, I can show up at the first, you know, at both of those public meetings and answer any questions anybody has.
Maybe we hold it off.
Well, how about if we did this? You have your PowerPoint. What if we put those on boards? Put them out in the hallway so that people can look at them prior to our first reading, prior to our second reading. And I agree with what you're saying. You know, I've already run into one or two of the loudmouths. And no matter what, you know, they're the people you hang them with a new rope and they wouldn't be happy. But their voice is very loud. I think having something available that they can see here the night that we're gonna discuss it, they have the opportunity to
Stand up and ask a
to
question.
put up their input then, is going to be more than enough. You know,
Okay, and we can always add it down, you know.
And let me ask you this, the reading, what are the official actions y'all are taking? Are you're approving the PD, the master plan?
And the
PDD,
PDD.
the conceptual
And the
master
DA.
plan, and the development agreement.
Okay.
Each of those will have a public hearing with them. The DA has its own specific public hearing that will be noticed in the newspaper as well. So, so you will have public hearings, and each of those has 2 readings. So each of them will have, you have the opportunity for up to 6 hearings on the matter.
so the public will have plenty of opportunity to weigh in.
At your 2 readings, and then you can always, like the mayor said, if you want to add something else, you can always do that.
After
But
we
you do
pass.
have public hearings as part of your approval process.
And notifications have already gone out.
Has
The
the,
assumption.
has the DA
Not the
gone on
DA
the
one.
7th? So we need to get that.
I don't know, but we did for the PDD.
Kevin, have y'all sent that?
Well,
For the DA?
not for the DA.
Right, okay.
I'm just afraid if we had a thing like at the rec center there, those few loudmouths would attempt to poison the water. And that's something that we don't want. I mean, we've come this far with this project and we know this is what we want to do.
And what a lot of people want.
What a lot of
see
people want us
happen.
to do.
The public, not just
Yeah,
us.
why give those people a forum? You know, that's my thought.
They'll have their form.
I have one more question, sir.
And then I guess.
Okay, so I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your business plan or how to run your business or what products to carry in your store.
But
Will there be a possibility, we have a lot of Gullah Geechee folks that live here, and they do a lot of arts and crafts and all of that stuff. Will it be possible to carry some of their product in your store so we showcase the local culture and you know, kind of sort of boost the economy for them, kind of?
So yeah, all of our stores, we try, and I think we're pretty good at it, to, first of all, you know what you're getting into. You know, when you're going to a Buc-ee's, you know, clean restrooms and good food and all that stuff. But as we go through these different communities and cultural, I mean, you know, Gullah Geechee is a great example of yeah, we would have, you know, cookbooks, we would have art. Our merchandising folks come out, you know, 6 to 9 months before we open a store, and they will root around all over Hardyville and the county, and they will find, you know, some local artisans, some local crafts people who produce something that we think we can, A, sell in our store, and B, be that the producer of that thing can keep up with whatever we might be
Right.
selling.
And it's also unique to the
But
location.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
Clemson Tigers,
I don't know about
Carolina
that.
Gamecocks, or Georgia? Which one's the store gonna carry?
UT, University of Texas.
Oh,
Oh, no,
wrong answer.
yeah, wrong.
No, that was a diplomatic one.
Yes, it was, yes, it was.
We will carry all, you know,
Just
all of those, but we do. I mean, that's a fun thing, and when we get into the SEC world, and especially in locations like this, where it's like there is a bunch of South Carolina, Georgia, North, you name all those, and so we'll have everybody's going to get to pick.
So I mean, you're not gonna have a Rutgers there?
Oh, there.
It's way too far out of the market.
No, we got a lot of Ohio State people too.
Right.
Yeah, but we don't have to recognize it.
Thank you.
Well, first of all, thank you for coming today. As Val alluded to, this has been the worst kept secret in
this
Low
area.
Country. I'll tell you a story. If you recall, we had an executive session Zoom
Yes, sir.
I don't know, a year ago, whenever it was.
A year ago.
So I go home, and this is a true story.
Finally.
My wife says, Anna called me, and she proceeded to say everything that was in that executive session. And I said, did you have the room bugged, or did I have the room bugged? And as it turned out, whoever your land survey was told his doctor. The doctor then proceeded to tell half of Bluffton, who then, so, and by the time we had the executive session, my neighbors knew more than I knew. And that is almost a word-for-word true story. So this is the worst kept secret in the whole country.
Are you guys gonna make like an official announcement?
Yeah, we'll when it comes time to, so we're a little cagey until,
Are you not cagey?
and now I'm coming out of my cage, right? Because we're at the point where, there are council actions that need to happen to get us to build this project. So it's my job to line all of this up so that we all have the momentum to carry this project through public hearings and votes to get a Buc-ee's wherever we may be, which is right here, right now. And so, we are, we're still under contract with the seller. We've not bought, and we can't until we have all of these agreements in place. And once we have all of these agreements in place, then all of a sudden we become an official thing. And, you'll see a quote for there. All my friends make fun of me because they see quotes from me all the time about, the next Buc-ee's wherever. But then, we'll have a groundbreaking. I mean, we'll do a big deal. I mean, people are gonna know that it's on its way. And then we'll have a big grand opening. It's a show for sure.
Will our verbiage then for our resolution include the term Buc-ee's, or are we gonna stick with Travel Plaza? It's an honest question.
The application is for a
Especially
travel
since it's gonna
center,
be
but-
next, in 2 weeks.
Yes, and if we're gonna be showing this or inviting the public for comment, we have a decision to make.
The application is travel center.
Yeah, but you do, I forgot, you have one more other action. You have the Highway 17 improvements.
Which is a
MOU,
Buc-ee's.
which is between Buc-ee's and the city of Hardyville. So that specific one will have the name in there. And we could always refer to it in the parentheses as Buc-ee's, but
As the B
the
word or-
application is for this parcel.
Okay, I'm just thinking of how
It'll
we,
be a TMP in your title.
how we handle that publicly.
Yeah, because this is being broadcast, right?
I'm already,
Everybody's gonna know.
little logo dancing across the screen at the.
Like Carol Burnett.
We already
There you go.
This is a great addition to Hardyville, it's a great addition to Jasper County, and it sorely brings jobs that we definitely need. It's a wonderful side of the interstate over there that is not been utilized before, and now it's being utilized.
Right product in the right
Yeah,
place.
and I just finished my last bag of your cheddar nuggets.
Oh,
Good cheddar nuggets. Now I gotta make another run someplace to get more.
Okay, well, go.
Soon enough.
Yeah, my daughter loves strawberry and white tea. Strawberry and white tea, she loves that.
I've been to one until I met you.
We're trying to teach, we're trying to teach
Got
her.
me.
You know, we'll go to Florence too.
We need to do a road trip.
Road
trip. Road trip.
Stand up like
Research,
lawyers, that's
research.
So we will get this on,
We'll put this on November 7th, agenda. That's our next meeting, and that'll be first reading.
can we get a couple of poster board size of these two? for the
Put
public
it
to
in the
see?
hallway.
Yeah, let them see what,
Website too.
yeah,
We can do that.
we can.
This team over here can.
Yeah,
Okay, I don't think,
We have the graphics,
Yeah.
just a matter of.
No,
We have a photo, we have the graphics.
All right, that's all we have, Mr. Mayor.
That's all we have, so, if there are no further questions, do we have a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye.